Hi, it's Stephen here from Sound of a Nation Wave, and this is day 16 of the April daily draws. So let's see what message we get today, and I'll be taking the first card from the Druidcraft Tarot, followed by an Oracle card from the Angels and Ancestors Oracle deck. So let's choose our first card and get the reading underway. Okay, here we go, and today we will go there. Justice. So let's be fair and true and right in what we do, what we say, how we treat the situation. What is the right thing to do? What is fair? What is just in this situation? So we may be assessing a situation, weighing it up on the scales. And this is not necessarily, it can be finding a balance, an equilibrium, but, often with the scales of justice, it does come down more heavily on one side than another. Once you weigh the evidence on either side of the situation, the scales adjust, where you put evidence on that side, something on that side, and then you find which one is weightier than the other, and you literally come down, the scales come down more on one side than the other because the weight of evidence is more in that favor. So it's not necessarily you got to treat everything. The result doesn't necessarily have to be a 50-50 split in equal measure of how we assess something in order to be fair. Because if the evidence is more like 70 in favor and 30 against, and yet we treat it as 50-50, then that's not fair to 70%, because you've took away 20% of their evidence. Where the balance and equal measure comes is by treating each side fairly in the way that you apply evidence, and you treat them the same. You don't start off with one side already weighted and on one side already. They start off equal, they start off balanced, level at 50-50, and then the evidence is added on either side, and then the result is the result of which one comes down heavier with the weight of the evidence. You have to start off with equal, fair, just scales. You can't have where the starting position is that one side's already weighted in favor purely because of their standing in society, their position, their name. That is unfair. That's unjust. That's unbalanced justice. You're not treating it fairly, both sides fairly. So make sure that we're treating everybody the same in the way that we apply things, the way that we judge things. But there may be in a situation where one side of the argument comes out more in favor than the other because of the weight of evidence, or the weight of justification, or the weight of there's more pros than cons, or more cons than pros, depending, whichever for a certain scenario. So when we're assessing a situation, make sure we do that. We treat it with fairness. Try and be objective without any prejudices or preconceived ideas. We go basically on the objective evidence and the facts of the situation. We need to establish the facts on what those facts illustrate to us about the situation, not necessarily on the way that we emotionally feel about it, where our bias may be in a certain situation. We've got to go with the facts of the situation. So let's weigh up the facts. Let's do it fairly. And all our dealings, let's be just, fair, and the way, not show unjust favor to one thing or another, but treat everybody equally. But as I say, that doesn't necessarily mean that the result means that the outcome is in an equal measure on either side. Say, like, if someone's done wrong and the other person hasn't, then treating them both as if they've both done something wrong isn't fair to the person who's innocent. So, equal measure doesn't equal result doesn't necessarily mean balance and justice in that sense, which I think is sometimes can be a misinterpretation of this card, that everything's got to be balanced on equal side. That's your starting position when you're assessing something. It doesn't have to be the final position once you've assessed all the facts of the situation. So, but it also means that the person that when we do it, we need to be fair. We need to stick to the truth. We need to stick to establish the truth as far as we can, and not go by on our opinions or our own personal viewpoint. It has to be from the details and the facts of the situation. So maybe an objectivity, a fair, objective standpoint needs to be established. That's what this card is saying, whatever situation that we're facing. Okay, so let's see which oracle card we get to go with that. Trader, energy exchange to create abundance. And that, in a sense, is part of it, isn't it? The energy is exchanged for the abundance that we receive. If we're not putting in, if we're not putting in the energy, then the balance of energy is not right for us to come down in our favor if we're not putting the right energy in. The energy that we put in is like putting the facts of the case in. It's like, and the scales will come down one side or the other, in your favor or against you. But if you want it in your favor, then you got to put in the right energy to bring that abundance in. So there's that aspect too. The energy that we put in brings about the result. But let's be fair and true in everything that we do. Okay, so that is today's message. I'll be back tomorrow with day 17. Until then, thank you for listening. Take care, everyone. And I'll see you all again very soon. Okay, bye-bye.